Welcome to the Liberated Feminine Podcast. I'm Lucy Lampy, your host, and in today's episode, we're exploring why detachment is complete and utter BS. I will preface this by saying that the way that detachment is often portrayed is wildly distorted. It's painted as basically avoidance, ambivalence, numbness. Whereas when people speak to the true nature of detachment, which to me, I like to distinguish the words, these subtleties in semantics do matter. They transmit different frequencies to me. That's how I feel into it. Non-attachment, as I like to distinguish between the two, is not being emotionally detached or pretending to not care or convincing yourself that it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect you, you don't care, you're just going to go with the flow and see where it goes. True non-attachment is where the magic is at. Because when you practice non-attachment versus emotional detachment, let's distinguish that, you are becoming more acutely aware of the ways that you are outsourcing your well-being, your peace, your sense of wholeness, your happiness, your vibrance. So I want to make that distinction really, really crystal clear right off the bat. So when I speak on detachment being BS, what I'm saying is that this idea of it doesn't matter, I don't care, I'm fine, whatever happens, that's just not real. That's dehumanizing yourself. It's bypassing your human experience. Whereas when you are non-attached to an outcome, that means that your well-being, your wholeness, your sovereignty is not attached or tethered to anything or anyone. Now, there's so much nuance in this as well, because when you are practicing non-attachment, your heart is wide open. Your heart is cracked open to the max, to the flow of love. When you're detached, you're numbing, you're cutting off that flow of love. Completely different experience. When you practice non-attachment, it is vital for you to be brutally honest with yourself about what it is that you actually need, versus maybe just a preference or a fleeting urge, a fleeting desire. When you are detached, often you're completely unaware of your own actual needs, of what it is that your heart needs in that context, in that relationship, for example, to feel nourished. Someone who is emotionally detached and in a relationship is practicing avoidance, whereas someone who is practicing non-attachment in a relationship can, honest to God, say to their person that they love, that they choose fully, that they want to spend their life with, and say, if this is not what your heart wants, if this is not a fuck yes to your soul, I will set you free. Because that's love. That's me not being attached to needing you as my partner in order for me to be okay. While simultaneously being able to communicate, okay, here's what I actually honestly need in this relationship if we are going to continue together. And the non-attachment practice in that comes in the honestly being willing to let go. If that is what is in service to love, if that is what serves both of your long-term visions the best. And non-attachment is not for the faint of heart. All right. It is the most just can feel crushing at times, and yet heart-opening thing that you'll ever experience. Because when you are not attached to something in order for you to be whole, then you get to really, really love it. You get to be fully invested into it. Now that might sound backwards, right? You might think that, oh, then I'm like super attached, then I need this, and this needs me, or that person needs me, we need each other, or else we're not going to be okay, ride or die, you know? But when we're operating in that, the undercurrent is fear, scarcity, and lack. And whenever you are so afraid of losing something, you can't really be fully present in the having of it. When you recognize the fundamental truth that we don't own each other, and yet we can choose each other. And by choose, I don't mean just have the willingness to go along with something just because the other person kind of wants to and it's kind of working out and, we'll see where this goes. But really choosing, like with your full chest, with your whole heart. I choose this through the ups, through the downs, through the challenges, through the glories, all of it. To truly choose something requires you to not be attached. Now, there may be some cognitive dissonance in this. It might be a little bit of a mind, just what? A little bit of confusion in that, but I really want that to land. When you truly, fully choose something with your heart, you're also not attached. I also want to distinguish the difference between non-attachment and attachment styles, right? Because in our very human experience, our very real human experience, we have attachment styles and they're not fixed. I would invite you to think of them more as fluid. It depends on the context, the relationship, even the season of the relationship. And so it's not like your attachment style defines you, but it gives you some guidance. It gives you more insight and more on that in another episode because it deserves its own space. But it is a very necessary part of our human experience to have that secure attachment. Meaning, let's say both partners are not attached to a particular outcome or thing working out in a specific way in order for them to be okay and to feel safe and to feel like, okay, the universe has got me. That fundamentally they both have this secure attachment, not only with each other, but within themselves, within their relationship with the universe, God, source, love, however you want to define this big love, this creation. And so when you have that secure attachment, as it's defined in the attachment styles, right, that is the most supportive relationship energy exchange for this practice of non-attachment. Now, I'm also going to share more in a separate episode about healing attachment wounds and relationship wounds within relationship and how important that is and how we can't skip relationships in that healing process. But that I really wanted to emphasize in this message here, that secure attachment is really not, it's not the same as, detachment, non-attachment. When I speak about detachment and non-attachment, we're exploring this more from the spiritual sense. Okay, not the physiological, what is your nervous system doing in response to being around this person, attachment style kind of attachment. Okay, so it's all relevant. But that's why this concept of detachment, I don't know if it rubs you the wrong way, but it definitely rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, something is amiss. Something is amiss. This sounds like avoiding some part of ourselves. This sounds like bypassing the very sacred and holy desires that we were gifted and entrusted with. And so for you to be able to express those desires, to know what they are, and to vulnerably expose those parts of your heart requires a level of practicing non-attachment. Because then here's your bleeding, tender heart, and you have no control over how the other person is going to respond. You are at their mercy. This is why non-attachment will crack you the fuck wide open. Because it takes you out of the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat in the sense that you get to choose. Again, you have the choice to show your heart. You have the choice to be honest about your needs and desires in your heart. But once you put it out there, it's like the ball's in their court. It's fucking scary. I know. Done it many times. And every time it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I have no idea and I have no control. And this is where, for example, working with that dark feminine is so powerful and so critical, because for me in my journey in this practice of non-attachment and the practice of expressing my deeper heart desires and not settling on that has required a lot of working with the dark feminine. Because the dark feminine, it's like let's say that the dark goddess in general, like she's there to just expose and extract all of those murky, gooky things, parts of me that are just like clinging on for dear life. Like, no, I just want control. I just want certainty that this person will choose me and never leave me, and that they'll always be able to provide what I need, and vice versa. And dark goddess, the dark feminine, is like, no, you have no certainty. Make peace with the uncertainty, make peace with the discomfort, make peace with the mystery, make peace with the possibility, make peace with the parts of yourself that want more. Without having to prove yourself, over-explain, justify your desires, justify your needs, beg for things to be fulfilled. And she is going to purify the hell out of your vessel. So that is one thing I will say, that if you are truly ready to practice this skill of non-attachment so you can experience the most profound, genuine, intimate love and connection in your life, perhaps through a romantic relationship, through friendships, through any kind of relationships, our hearts long to connect. They long to be known and to be seen and to be fully accepted and celebrated. And if you want that, then there is a process of purification of your ego clinging on to control, attaching, this is my identity, this is my sense of worth, this is a thing that completes me. And it will level all of that out and retill the soil and plant new seeds of vibrance and self-worth and unfuckwithability, soul remembrance, so that then you can nurture and nourish those seeds to life, and you will know also what nurtures and nourishes you and your heart. All right, we'll let that sink in for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if something clicked for you in this, or if there's something that you're navigating that this is in line with. Feel free to comment below this video, or if you're listening on Spotify, or email me at support@thewildawakening.com. And for more on my Dark Feminine Codes course, visit my website, lucylampy.com, and use the code DARKFEM40 for 40% off. But get ready, folks. She's gonna work you. If you're ready for that, dive into that course. That is a great starting point. All right, thank you for joining me for this episode. And until next time, here's to liberating your wild feminine heart.